What's up, y'all? Another Bible study, Bible reading, Matthew 13. That day Jesus went out of the house and was sitting by the sea, and large crowds gathered to him, so that he got in a boat and sat down, and the whole crowd was standing on the beach. He spoke many things to them in parables, saying, Behold, the sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seeds fell beside the road, and the birds came and ate them up. Others fell on the rocky places, where they didn't have much soil, and immediately they sprang up because they had no depth of soil. But when the sun had risen, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. Others fell among the thorns, and the thorns came up and choked them. And others fell on the good soil and yielded a crop, some 60, some 30, and some 100-fold. He who has ears, let him hear. And the disciples came and said to him, Why do you speak to them in parables? Jesus answered, To you it has been granted to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it has not been granted. For whoever has, to him more shall be given, and he will have an abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he has shall be taken away from him. Now, that's speaking about like spiritual things. If you, the more you have, the more you following after God, the more you're walking in His ways, the more you're trying to understand, the more you're gonna have. But if you're not trying, that'll be taken away from you. The little bit that you do have. Little bit of understanding that you do have. Therefore I speak to them in parables, because while seeing they do not see, and while hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. In their case, the prophecy of Isaiah is being fulfilled, which says, You will keep on hearing, but will not understand. You will keep on seeing, but will not perceive. For the heart of these people has become dull. With their ears they scarcely hear, and they have closed their eyes. Otherwise they would see with their eyes, hear with their ears, and understand with their heart and return, and I would heal them. But blessed are your eyes, because they see, and your ears, because they hear. For truly I say to you that many prophets and righteous men desired to see what you see, and did not see it, and to hear what you hear, and did not hear it. Hear the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what's been sown in their heart. This is the one whom seed was sown beside the road, and the one whose seed was sown on the rocky places. This is the man that hears the word and immediately receives it with joy, but he has no firm root in himself, but is only temporary. And when affliction or persecution arises because of the word, immediately he falls away. And the one on whom seed was sown among the thorns, this is the man who hears the word, and the worry of the world and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful. And the one on whom seed was sown on the good soil, this is the man who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit and brings forth, some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. Jesus presented another parable to them, saying, The kingdom of heaven may be compared to a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while the men were sleeping, the enemy came in and sowed tares among the wheat, and went away. But when the wheat sprouted and bore again, then the tares became evident also. Then the slaves of the landowner came and said to him, Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? Originally the good word went out. People were hearing the good word. But eventually a lot of people claiming to believe that aren't living it out got mixed in. The slaves came to the landowner, which is God, and said to him, "Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares?" And he said to them, "An enemy has done this, the devil." The slave said to him, "Do you want us then to go and gather them up?" But he said, "No, for while you're gathering up the tares, you may uproot the wheat also with them. Allow both to grow together until the harvest, which is the end of the age. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, first gather up the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn." He presented another parable to them, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field. And this is smaller than all the other seeds, but when it's grown, it's larger than the garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come nest in its branches." So when you first originally believe, you got that little faith of the mustard seed. But once you continue in the word, continue learning, continue in the faith, you grow up into a tree, which other people can benefit off. He spoke another parable to them, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like leaven, which is yeast, which a woman took and hid in 3 pecks of flour until it was all leavened." All these things Jesus spoke to the crowds in parables, and he did not speak to them without a parable. This was to fulfill what was spoken through the prophet. "I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things hidden since the foundation of the world." Then he left the crowds and went into the house. And his disciples came to him and said, "Explain to us the parable of the tares of the field." And he said, "The one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man, Jesus. And the field is the world. And as for the good seed, those are the sons of the kingdom. And the tares are the sons of the evil one. And the enemy who sowed them is the devil. And the harvest is the end of the age. And the reapers are angels. So just as the tares are gathered up and burned with fire, so it shall be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send forth his angels, and they will gather out of his kingdom all stumbling blocks, and all those who commit lawlessness, and will throw them into the furnace of fire. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. He who has ears, let him hear. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and hid again. And from joy over it, he goes and sells everything he has and buys that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant seeking fine pearls. And upon finding one pearl of great value, he went and sold all that he had and bought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a dragnet cast into the sea, and gathering fish of every kind. And when it was filled, they drew it up on the beach, and sat down and gathered the good fish into containers, but the bad they threw away. So it will be at the end of this age. The angels will come forth and take the wicked out from among the righteous, and will throw them into the furnace of fire. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Have you understood all these things? They said to him, Yes. And Jesus said to them, Therefore every scribe who has become a disciple of the kingdom of heaven is like the head of a household, who brings out of his treasure things new and old. When Jesus had finished these parables, he departed from there. He came to his hometown and began teaching them in their synagogue, so that they were astonished and said, Where did this man get this wisdom and these miraculous powers? Is this not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary, and his brothers James and Joseph and Simon and Judas, and his sisters? Are they not all with us? Where then did this man get all these things? And they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, A prophet is not without honor except in his hometown and his own household. And he did not do many miracles there because of their unbelief. That's the end of Matthew 13. God bless you guys.